else? I can show up.
Sure.
Anyone else want to say?
Listen.
Okay, 6 to 8. Got any bring this down to? Bill and Tim. 6 to 8. Okay.
That could be it, or that could.
That will, yeah, we'll have to talk about that. Just figure out the rest of the dates. November. We could do another Saturday, we could do Tuesday. Commission is usually that Monday, President reports usually on that Wednesday. We could throw in. I hate to do that Sunday, so. Well, we can do another Saturday, we could do Thursday.
Do you think we should wait and see how this?
Before we do another Saturday? Yeah.
Oh, this is the church.
Oh, yeah, no, we certainly could, because. Should we just plan out the next two, or should we plan out November, February too?
Yeah.
It's
I
fine.
do a place,
What's that?
placeholder.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking, as a placeholder. Or something, but yeah, otherwise we can stick with May 15th, August 16th. And then we can come back and talk about November and February. Where should we have them is the next question. Last one's at the library by the fireplace, but the fireplace didn't work out a little too loud there. But we had the community house, we had the library, the community room. We had the police department downstairs, and one of us just wandering around down there.
Costco.
Yep, the Costco room, we could do the Barrier room.
Well, I don't know how many people are gonna show up.
Right, the library, we had 60, give or take.
Costco, works for that.
Which one? The one with you? Sure, that's where we look at.
At least the community house is pretty centrally located for everyone too.
Yeah, exactly, yeah,
It's got no space for a large group.
right, yeah. And then August 16th, Saturday morning.
Do they do stuff in the customer room?
And you might not be able to get the guys.
Yeah, I would check with one.
Might not be able to get it for Thursday.
Right. Yeah, if not, then.
They will.
If not, we can- There you go. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, in theory, we can have outside.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else for schedule and discuss locations? Just I think that and see. I'll take the other one. And just keep in mind November and February. Okay, anything else for number 5? No? On to number 6, review and discuss notes for further criminal and city council listening session. That's all I've got. That's 2. I know we went through this once or twice, but just kind of go through and see what anything would be anything else or what we have to do. For the police department, the first one, all their current cameras at their charge. Anything right there? Not much we can do.
I've really been going with similar and starting to a couple of years is you can basically place a camera to see anywhere where a person can see. Legally. If it's something where it's encroaching on somebody's privacy, then it would be something goes down on somebody's property, if that makes sense. Kind of very similar to what we were talking about, lighting restrictions and the thoughts and feelings on that, privacy, kind of very similar. Something I can see in plain sight, and view typically that's what we're. So if you have, say your side entry door, let's say Tim and I have properties so each other, driveways right next to each other, both have it. Yeah, ring doorbells, maybe that side doors going across each other's yards here. These are the what you can see. Now I couldn't look at a different one that say a rafter is looking down over the fence. So his house. If that makes sense. So yes, we get stuff a lot of times. Typically, it's more about one way or the other, with camera because everything works. That's the truth of the matter. As long as it's not shining into some area that something would happen privacy, then it's legal.
Do we know if this particular person?
No, I have not heard from that specific person who's acknowledging that they were the one. Okay, but I will say that we get question free.
We do.
Yeah, I think I can remove. I know I ran into a lot of the forums.
The other thing would be is if you're harassing nature, like backyards, they're open backyards and you're harassing somebody with recording, maybe something, but to my knowledge, we haven't had a call like that.
Okay. These two are kind of speeding noise.
So the speeding is less than sort of back to February, I think for about 3 weeks, I had officers sitting and forcing traffic. Of that, I think we had about 20 stops, give or take, and that's 24/7 for periods of time. And of that, I think they had for a while. They did have 3 citations, but they were for 100. Speeding, they were unregistered vehicles. So they did have about 20 stops that had some sort of percent. So it's typically not fast enough to write a citation for. It's ready.
So really nothing else we really can do.
It kind of comes and goes. Look at the last council meeting was for Adams Street. We did that every spring, where people are cutting from Tannery over to Adams, and speeding violations. Just as I told that person, we will send somebody with the journal that signs up, but we typically do, we just had them all not that long ago. It just kind of slows it down for a little bit, and it takes kind of we get it.
Nuisance properties.
So in that thing, I think we do a great deal with that. I would argue that if you look at all the planning on Facebook, too much with addressing the nuisance properties and because that seems to be the complaint on Facebook now, that we address so much of that and other things. What our CSO's job is address those things. We also have tried to warn them. They record all the properties around town. They'll do a fall cleanup. That's where, if you're not familiar with Triad, seniors basically working with the police department, partnership, these things, but some of which either golf carts or vehicles and drill a whole section of town. So it might be the whole south of 22nd Street to say 14th Street. And they'll hit every single block in there. They'll write down all the different problems within all the residences, and then they'll pass it on to the CSO on top of the work she's already doing. And then she'll go and address those with letters and whatever she has to. And the ultimate goal is not to rate tickets, not to cost people money on their taxes. That could happen, but the ultimate goal is just to find compliance somehow with those people. And that's really what happens. So as far as, what else can maybe be done proactively is, aside from what we're already doing, is maybe having more conversations with your neighbors and trying to get those things taken care of prior to police and CSO response. That would be my idea. And then just reporting things to us, not just in the Facebook land, because I realize it on Facebook too, but unless it's actually reported to our department, we can't do anything about it.
Right, yeah, and that's important, right? I don't think people realize, I think they realize that they complain on Facebook that someone will take care of it, but that's the way to do it. Then the next was community service officer. What do they do and how to reach them?
Yeah, so I described it already several times. So who they are is Jessica Rogers is our newest community service officer. What she does is pretty much all those duties that nobody else wants to do in the city of Two Rivers. That's usually go and talk with unreasonable people about kind of simple issues like cleaning up dog feces in their yard, picking up trash in their yard, dealing with abandoned vehicles at their yard, little neighbor disputes. For instance, I just saw one on Facebook talking about a sump pump pumping into another person's yard. And yes, our former CSO responded that the correct person to contact would be the CSO. And that's the truth. How you get a hold of that person is you call our non-emergent Two Rivers Police Department line. That goes straight to dispatch, and we will dispatch out those code enforcement things for the code enforcement officer. So they can decipher between what needs to go to a police officer and what needs to go to a code enforcement officer.
Okay, perfect. And then the last one, any complaints about Airbnbs?
Yeah, I think this is kind of that open for debate on, I guess, what you feel is a serious complaint. But as far as a police complaint where there was either something criminal or something ordinance violation wise, we have not had problems with Airbnbs. That's not to say that people don't think there's serious things going on as far as like the lighting, different neighbors, things like that. But as far as the police department concerned, no, we've had next to none. I look back, originally, I think I reported back there was one legitimate parking complaint that did receive a citation. There was a complaint about noise resulting from basically everybody leaving after they got that citation, but not legitimate to write a ticket for because we were the cause of that noise. And other than that, there was a residence that had like 14 false alarms at the residence. Before that got cleared up, it was an alarm issue with the security company. Really just kind of minor things like that. I looked back and from what I could tell, there was no increase in any such complaints. There are two, basically a resident complaining about a short-term rental that seems to be a back and forth as far as like harassment complaints against each other, but nothing of note that would be anything different from a neighbor dispute.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So thank you for that. Public Works.
We talked about them already.
I know, right? The owner of the house on 14th and 310 mentioned the telephone pole. I know I talked to him, that gentleman that night. I told him to call an emergency line, the police department reported if there's an accident or something there. Not much else that we could do there.
And as I mentioned at our March meeting, prior to that, I hadn't seen anything, but just a day or two before our March Public Works meeting, I did see some minor debris there. So, and there looked to be a scuff mark on a pole, so yes, something happened, but couldn't tell definitively what it was.
Okay. Speed limit,
You know, for that one, you kind of have to, I mean, nobody's gonna smash their car into a telephone pole and lose their right bumper and then say, maybe, do you think I should call the police and tell them I did that? I mean, really, because I did see two accidents, one went into the telephone pole, one went into the snow bank. I mean, when I was just sitting in my porch, just minding my own business. And I'm sure the one that went into the snow bank was a high school kid with her little brother in the car. We helped her, we shoveled her out, and she left. I could hear her say, "Would you tell Dad?" Would you tell Dad? And I mean, you know, I don't really know what he's worried about. I guess if I lived there, I'd be a little worried about a car coming into my house too.
And that's, yeah, twofold, one, protection of the power pole, two, protection of his house. So what he's actually asking for is some roadway beam guard or railing there to prevent a car from driving off of Hawthorne into his property. The way those are designed and set up, it's more for a side impact, not a direct impact. So again, and then you have the sidewalks and the handicap ramps there, so there's just no room for those types of devices to be constructed there. So basically, turn ahead, slow down, be cautious.
Well, that's for the drivers, that's not really for him.
Well, but if the motorist would take caution
Oh, no,
and reduce
I-
the speed, we wouldn't have the incidents that we're talking
yeah.
about.
I guess it's just, what do you do?
Yep.
yeah, it's just a weird corner.
Yeah.
It's a weird corner, yeah. Public Works, we talked about the speed limit changes, same thing that, Chief just mentioned, Michigan Road between 41st and 45th. We kind of just let it up in the air, nothing to do right now. We didn't let it up in the air, but we kind of said we're working, do anything now.
I thought we left it as, we were potentially, if we wanted to move forward, we could do a speed study there.
Yes.
And, that's right. Ultimately determine whether or not the speed should be posted at 35 or reduced down to 25. That has gone nowhere as of right now. We're just trying to get off our other projects off the,
Snow removal around corners. In general.
that's a work in progress.
Okay.
It's always a work in progress. My guys have a tendency to push, especially in large intersections, completely across the intersection, making these large snowbanks. For winter here and trying to encourage, yes, pushing that snow down around the corner and reducing those piles at the corner.
But they do cleanup within 2 days anyways.
Depends on the snow, and,
Yeah.
but by the time they potentially get, everywhere within the city, it might take a week to 2 weeks, especially on the larger snow events. But if we can push that snow further down the street, do we really need to do a cleanup?
It's true.
But,
Then people be complaining that you took everything and dumped it.
In their front yard, in their driveways, or.
which we have gotten, this year with the revision of Roosevelt Street, so.
Okay. Okay,
So no good deed goes unpunished.
right, yeah. Okay, snow removal around businesses to be done better. Cozy's and Christina's was, concerned about that one snowstorm, but it was kind of a weird snowstorm that came that time, so. Comments about city street projects on hold. I think that was more or less along the line of people weren't sure what was going on with the projects, but everything's going forward. So,
because of the question mark on federal funding, that actually made its way down to state funding. Would we still have the funding? The answer is yes, all projects are moving forward.
Okay, so that's it for Public Works, thank you. Parks and Rec, beach parking, that's kind of an ongoing / closed thing.
Well, as far as that goes, I mean, with Pierce Street, we are adding about 50 additional parking stalls. And we're trying to figure out when that contract will go forward.
Gotcha. Central Park, can they make more use of the skating rink, music around the rink more often, et cetera, et cetera. That I know Mike has made note of that and making plans for next year. And citizens like the dog park, so nothing to worry about there. Finance department, tax increase, why paying for public school in LTC? We tried to explain it that night to a couple gentlemen, or to a gentleman there, but there's nothing really we can do about it. It's just something that the state does. We set pay for public school in LTC. Tax increase, how was it assessed?
Talk about the school board again.
What's that?
You can vote different people on the school board.
Right, correct.
Is that the only way we can keep a leash on them? Not that with the increases that they were,
They
Started increasing
definitely had more increases than they said they were gonna be. So they did lie. But I don't know what you can do.
because I get it all the time, I go, this part is where taxes are not this part. and
Right, yes.
it hasn't been a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, so that, I think maybe you can give you some better explanation here to people. And that would be something.
There's an appeal going on in the school board right now.
Yeah, right.
On Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Appeal?
People.
Very sad, yes.
Oh, yeah. That was most of the tax increases.
Yeah. The county too, right? Yeah. The tax increase that we had for people, even though it was 0, but the assessments for our houses and other property we have in the city, people are still, at this time, we're concerned about that, how that was done. That's something I still think needs to be followed up on yet. Along with how the budgets work and set up. People are kind of confused about how budgets work, so I think that's still open yet. And I don't know if this is something utilities can do, but information about utility bills and what charges are for what. I don't know if that's a finance thing or not, but I know a couple people there that they're just questioning what this fee does for that and stuff, et cetera, so. I think that was
We
still.
saw that video that we actually be by and, well, Ross and guys from the utilities, they explained, really good explaining a lot of things. Why they were getting charged for certain things and so forth.
You mean utilities?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I thought they had a key somewhere, that you could look at it or something, because then it explains, I thought there was something somewhere. I don't know if it's online, but I suppose nobody knows.
The basically line fees on the bill are called minimum usage fees, and people get confused with that because they go, well, I use more than that, why am I getting that charge twice? And that's the biggest rate. I think that's with our billing company.
Yeah, I think that changed quite a bit when we changed the company.
Because I brought it up regularly a couple times. That's what it is.
Okay, yeah, I think if there is information out on the internet or on our website someplace, I think we just need to inform people of that. Or make it so people know where to go.
They could even go to the office, I would say.
Yeah, sure, they could, or just call and say, what is this stuff mean?
Right.
Other stuff utilities, most of these are closed, but router replacements are paid for. That letter from the water department, people were confused that night. Lead lateral replacements at 10 years so far. hasn't really changed.
Well, that's a federal thing.
Right, yep,
I mean, if it's federal, we can't do anything about that.
correct, yep. Yeah, and that's what we explained that night too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then on city manager's office, I can't really speak to these, but can there be a cleanup, free pickup of junk? I don't know how that would work. That'd be interesting.
I'm figuring how that would be free.
Right.
I think that would be a heavy amount going back in the taxpayers.
And they used to have that on the signal.
Yeah, I
Spring cleanup, everybody threw all their junk there, everybody run their sewer rails and stuff. It was like,
That happens now, it's called trash pickup days, people still go on the.
or funny thing, it's by the curb, it must be free.
Yes.
Because I went to the bathroom and they stole my lawnmower.
But we do have the electronics pickup.
Yep.
There's another one.
yeah, usually, was it Rotary or?
Rotary has one.
Optimus.
Because they were looking at doing one with
That's electronic.
the electric department. this
Yeah,
They read your bulbs and.
yep, computer stuff and TVs and stuff.
I think a lot of communities will have that day and they'll put out a couple of great big dumpsters. And, all the way, but not a city the size of Traverse.
Right, yeah.
I'm talking about like Phelps up north, a little bird, you know.
Yeah, it'd be hard to pay for.
I mean, you got,
And the village of Cleveland did that, and I think they planned for 4 big, of the biggest dumpsters, and they had those filled in like 2 hours, they were already getting 2 extras. But they did it in lieu of other funds because they had, lost some other services, or the police department down there for a while and other things, so that was a way to make it back, because they didn't have any enforcement of the ordinances.
Gotcha.
So we offered that up as kind of a bring whatever you have, no questions asked, we'll get rid of it. But yeah, to your point, I think that would be quite a venture. for the side of the river.
20 of the big semi-sized dumpsters.
Yeah,
Now, would that be worth it? Because how much work was that big for the police department with back?
Oh, yeah, I'm not against
I
it,
mean-
like I said, I think it comes down to cost versus, need and want. I'd be in favor of any of the garbage that got picked up with us having not to go through all the channels to get to that point of having somebody get rid of it or us get rid of it. But again, that would be a question for you guys on city council to make for all the constituents, is whether or not that's worth the price of it.
yeah, that'd be a tough one.
We do get a pretty good deal through Manitowoc Disposal. But I don't know.
But it costs them, I mean, if you want
It's
to
gonna
throw
cost them a
out
lot.
a couch is like a fold out bed, it's like, what's it like, three or four garbage stickers. Because Manitowoc Disposal, it costs them
Well, sure.
quite a bit,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, the thing is, they're willing to pick that stuff up, so that's like
Any day, not, it doesn't have to be just one day, you can,
toilet with a sticker on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just got rid of a big couch, 3 garbage stickers. And I didn't have to worry about it, just I get it to the curb.
Yeah.
It was fun watching them try to throw it back to my right camera, but at 3:30 in the morning, but that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I think people like the word free in there. But it has to be paid for somehow. I do that, but. The other one on there, can the city help with different services that may not be provided by the city, put it on the website? Metal pickup, appliance pickup, that one's still open, I think we're done with that. And is there money available from the city to help fix up properties? I think Greg was there that night, he kind of explained that a little bit, but, yeah, I don't know where that program is right now.
What was it?
If the city can help, providing either low-cost loans or something to help fix up properties. There used to be something, I don't know if there's still something now,
I'm
but
pretty sure we have that,
We just don't administer it anymore.
That would be the community block development grants that Greg talked about a couple weeks ago, that the state is trying to pull that money back. And so it may not be available to local municipalities anymore.
So, something to watch.
I will say when there is, some sort of garbage pickup or electronics, all that stuff, Greg is really good about posting that, actually, Val probably is good about posting that on our city websites, and typically all the other departments will share that information, word out, so that does actually go out very publicly.
That's good. Okay.
There's one coming in June.
Is there? Oh, okay. Replace the city manager, that's ongoing, and we already talked about that. Why doesn't the council put onto referendum the choice of mayor? That's still open. I don't know if we need to come up or say why we haven't put it on referendum, but that's still out there yet.
Well, somebody, you have to get a certain number of signatures from people in the community just to start thinking about it. I don't know how many that you need, but,
Yeah.
I mean, they've tried it in the past and it didn't go very far.
Yeah. What is Main Street? That's something I think needs to be redefined a little bit so people understand that. I think, I can't remember his name.
Jason, right?
Yes, thank you. I know he sent something about what Main Street is and what does. I don't know who he all sent that to. I think he sent something just recently.
Some of his weekly emails.
Yeah,
About
that's-
people in the mid district.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, I don't want to interrupt, but
No, you're fine.
people think that Main Street is the city.
Correct.
And I think we really have to get the information out there and get it in their minds that these are two separate things. We work in concert with the city, and a lot of what Main Street does is helped by the city, maybe not in money, but in personnel, you know,
I think some of the confusion still goes back to when, Main Street was housed here as well. I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
causes a lot of the confusion.
but maybe if we had that as a utility bill,
Yeah.
insert, this is your Main Street.
Right. They're an independent organization that does this.
Right.
And even though the city has to collect the taxes for the mid district, the city doesn't give them that money, you just can start collecting it and it goes to them.
Yeah, people get confused by that too. Yep. Along with that, how can the city help small businesses? Well, I know Joe was there that night, and he, talked to a couple businesses there that night. Yeah, try to help them along.
With all local or conversations, it will.
Yeah, good, good. And why doesn't the city help promote all businesses, not just those on Main Street? That was also something I brought up that night. And Joe took care of that pretty well too, so. And that's pretty much the whole list. Does anyone have any other questions or anything? I took notes, a lot of them that will be closed, so I'll send you the list. Something like this. Yeah, a lot of it can be closed, a lot of it is nothing we have to do anymore, we looked into it, et cetera, et cetera. And there's just a couple of things to do that with. Okay, any other questions about this? I think we'll finally be done with it, just once.
That was your last listening session?
Yes. Yeah, those are the kind of things to you all start to hear. Let's see, then on to number 7, appointments of council members to various city boards and committees. I think this will take too long. So we got the list of all the committees and boards. Everyone saw my big decisions on the tree standing committee, right? It took me many hours to think about that and to
You had public works, you had,
Public Works and Personnel Finance and Utilities. I kept them the same.
did you put, oh, so you put the public works and utilities? Okay, whatever.
No, they're the same people in each one, I just moved who
okay.
meeting.
Okay.
So Doug will be doing public works. Shannon will be doing utilities. And Mark will be doing personnel finance. That's it. The rest of the committees, we have a big list of the advisory rec board. I'm assuming Anna wants to be on there yet. I'm on there right now, if anyone wants to join, they certainly can. You can kick off one of us, if you want to join, or just keep it the same way. Anyone have interest in advisory rec board? Okay, keep it the same. Board of review, that one is currently Bill, Bonnie, and myself.
I have trouble with it. When it was in August, it was no problem, but they never. Because they can't make up their mind when you meet, it's hard for me to. I don't have to be on it, is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha. So if someone else wants to be on it, they certainly can. There's not much commitment to it. Last year was a big year because we had reassessments. We actually had
We only had,
two
two
people.
people that had a little trial or whatever.
Yeah,
So like, but they had 65 complaints or
Yeah.
people like, and after those people got that all cleared up, except for two of them.
correct. Two of
And
them.
nobody else showed up.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's one thing when people are asking you about taxes and back assessments, we need to tell them that they can always complain about it every year, go through, just go ask the clerk or whoever. And they can do it all part of the open book.
Yep.
And they can get their lot reduced,
Mhm.
assessment reduced, change.
Yep.
Do your homework, don't just come in and say, I want my lot, I want my assessment change, you're gonna have to prove that it should be changed.
Right.
And you got nice guys like me and you that,
Just say, sure, why not?
sure, why not?
Yeah.
We have to judge if the people are correct or not.
Yeah, that is a little interesting. I mean, there's only two, like I said last year, but.
We had one 2 years back. But, like, he didn't have a very good argument, you know. His assessment, he had a really good assessment and really good tax rate, but he wanted more often. So it's,
How do when our stuff was under Patriot Properties, you could click on it and you could get all the information. And that was a real nice.
Oh, yeah.
And now they switched over to this other thing. It's not so much. Is there something that they could unlock so you could
See your assessment better?
Or, yeah, because it's compared to the old system, very, very
Yeah,
not real user friendly, makes you jump from one thing to the other and all.
yeah, is that through the county you're talking about?
It's through the city of Riverview. This is now, when you used to click on it, you went to Patriot Properties, and that was the people that did our assessments, and then they had everybody's assessment in there, and you could put in any address and then pull up and tell you what the sales prices were and stuff, and old taxes, and now it's not set up that easy.
Well, it's probably because of the assessment company we go through, and that's probably all they have.
Like now, it's more, they've got an area where if you're a paid user or something, if there's something you can click on it and look at it, but.
That is a question we'll ask Greg.
And you're looking for a third for that?
Yes.
I would volunteer to do that.
Would you? Bonnie, would you be okay with that? That would take over your spot. Yeah, good. Strike Bonnie. And up to that.
Oh my gosh, that would fill around my house. Like 20 years old.
Let's see, the next one that has council members on there is the VAD and CDA. I know Shannon wanted to come off,
I was interested in.
Doug was interested in going that. Is anyone else interested in joining? You guys got a fight about it? What's that?
I say, when does it meet?
Tuesdays, the fourth Tuesday.
Is there supposed to be two people?
This week, yes, 2 council members. So far I'm on there and Shannon wants to come off. But Doug said he would go on. Anyone else wants to go on?
No, I don't really know,
Okay,
sorry, it'll be okay.
okay, anyone else? Okay. Congrats, Doug, you're in that one.
Supposed to have two representatives.
Yeah, I'll stay on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll stay on, unless someone's taking me off. If you want to take me off, that's fine. I'll take it for it.
Go ahead.
Just one good bite with it. Do you want to go on it?
No.
I can step aside.
No,
once you
fine.
go. You're fine, okay. Commission for Equal Opportunities in Housing. That has Tim and Bonnie on it.
Yeah, that never meets.
That never means.
That never means, nothing's ever happened, okay. But it looks good on a resume, right, or something?
Sounds good then.
Yeah.
See,
You never know, the new manager might force everybody to see.
Yeah,
no, because, that's the one where they took the funding away. The reason we never meet is because we don't make the decisions anymore.
oh, okay.
A certain person from a certain party outside makes the decisions. And this is the one where they took the funding away anyway to, improve houses. With, I forget what they call it, and you don't have to pay the loan back to sell their house.
Oh, yeah,
And now they want all that money back.
Yeah.
The governor does.
That was the question you had before. That's.
Yep.
So that's what happened to that.
Yeah.
okay. Committee on Aging,
In fact, maybe you should ask Greg if we should even have that committee. We've called some committees before.
you want to ask Greg that? Okay. I'll make that one too. Yeah, we can ask Greg, see, something that one. Committee on Aging, Mark is currently on that one, you only need one. Does anyone want to fight Mark for it?
Sounds broken.
What's it?
Sounds broken.
Mark, goes,
Mark wants it, okay. We'll keep Mark on that.
they want me to go there,
Do they?
There's a couple people told me.
Oh, you want to?
Doesn't work.
Okay.
Like that.
We could, it's
It's too stressful.
okay.
Too stressful.
Environmental Advisory Board, we currently have Darrell and Doug.
I thought
That's what Charlie went on.
I would like you to take it.
You just don't want to be the chair anymore.
Well, you're not the chair anymore.
We kind of, we're gonna share it, and I've come to the realization that I'm not gonna be able to get
feel like
100%.
there's anything I can add to that group.
But Shannon wants to.
But Shannon really wants to.
Could you and Shannon do it together? I've been doing it for 6 years. I'm tired. I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish.
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
So I don't know, Doug, would you take it?
I don't really want to, but if you're gonna force me.
Twist your arm. Well, does anyone else want to do the EAB? So far, it's only Shannon that wants to. Is the current board full? Like, do you have any vacancies, citizen vacancies?
We lost, Larry Thomas quite a while ago.
Jake's gone too.
We lost Heather Gross.
No, she's here. She's there.
Was that the new one? Okay.
Yeah, she's.
Dr. Don said didn't he say he was going on?
I think Don's term is up, but Jake was replaced by John, so, yeah, I think one vacancy.
And Larry Thomas hasn't been there in years.
Right.
Well, we can ask, I don't know if Mark and Adam want to.
It might.
They might. So we'll definitely say Shannon. We'll put Doug as a maybe. You want off?
Yeah, but if we're gonna have two council members, I can always help out.
Oh, gotcha, okay. So yeah, we'll see if Mark or Adam want to. Okay, library board, Shannon's on that one. She hadn't said she wants that at all, so I don't know for sure. Does anyone want to go on the library board?
It's only one representative, right?
Yeah, correct.
I know she really likes it.
I thought so too, but.
Yeah. And she will stay.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to Adam, Mark, and Shannon, some of both these ones that are on here. If for some reason she wants off at the next council meeting, we'll just talk about it, see if someone wants to join. So, plan commission, Adam's on that. Does anyone want to go on the plan commission? One representative.
We're gonna walk Adam off. Okay.
We could, if we vote on it, vote one.
That was trying one year.
Was it?
I lost.
Did you? Would you want it? He's not here to defend himself, so I don't know if that's fair or not, but,
I won't do that.
okay.
That would be fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, Ethan said what he wants to. Room tax, we have Mark and Bill. You gonna stay on it?
Sure.
Okay. I think Mark wants to stay on it. Or are you thinking you want to?
Well, I had talked to several members about maybe being on, but they both want to stay.
You want to go on?
Motion.
Doug, did you want to go on?
I had talked to people about it, but I mean, if you want to stay on, that's fine.
I can talk to Mark and see if he wants to stay on it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he wants to.
Well, they're probably, because they were certain what my situation was, I suppose.
Maybe.
There's a lot happening on that.
Okay, I'll talk to Mark and then we'll decide that as the next council meeting for sure. Tourism Main Street, Darwin, still good with that?
Is anybody else interested in it? I've been doing that forever too. We pretty much had it under control since we got a new, director.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. But I've got stuff going on in my life right now that's it's gonna be difficult to really, be able to meet my responsibilities.
Sure, gotcha, yeah,
So
okay.
if nobody else wants it, I'll keep it.
Sure, I will bring it up at the next council meeting with Mark and Shannon.
Okay.
Yeah, we can talk about that. So we have Main Street and room tax.
Share that?
The design committee. Now, see, I can stay on the design committee. But for the board, for Main Street Board,
Right, yeah.
which really doesn't require much. If nobody else wants it, I'll stay on it. That's
Okay, gotcha. So, advisory rec board is fine, board review is fine. The BADC, CEA is fine. Commission for Equal Opportunities in Housing is fine, Community Aging is fine. We don't know about EAB. Well, definitely Shannon, but we'll see if anyone else wants to join. Library board, pretty sure Shannon wants to stay there. Plan commission's Adam. Room tax commission between Mark, Bill, and Doug. And Tours Main Street, Darla, and if anyone else wants to take their spot. That's it. Any questions? Anything you want, don't want? Bonnie?
Well, I was just gonna say to that room tax commission, you're supposed to be on it, so you could.
I could appoint someone, yep, that's true. I could appoint,
Would be a
He's supposed to be on it?
Huh?
Why you say he's supposed to be on it?
Yeah, it does say council president or designee,
Right,
Council overall,
or designee, yeah.
Yep.
So that's true, we can put that in there.
then there's no problem.
Good catch, Mark. Okay, anything else?
Well, you can remember too, if anybody wants to go to any meeting, they can.
Right,
So
exactly. Yeah. Okay, it's good. Anything else for the committees, anything? Okay. Then that wraps it up for tonight. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks, Scott. Thank you, Tim. We'll do a voice vote. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Good night. Thank you.